Performing Arts has been presenting music for about 18 years now, and for a long part of that, we periodically presented jazz. We had people like Marion McPartland and Mitchell Ruff Duo, Dick Hyman, folks like that. And we decided the time had come. In fact, it was sort of spurred by the fact that Litchfield was mentioned in a book listing the 100 best small art towns in America, and we said, this is it. It's time to do a summer festival, and decided to really go full bore with the jazz.
It's a very intimate setting because you can pull up your lawn chair or sit under the tent and really not be that far away. And of course the sound is terrific too. So you're getting first-class jazz performers in a great kind of rustic setting.
Most festivals you reach the first 50 or 60 rows. At the Litchfield Festival you can feel the response from the audience all the way back.
What I like about the Litchfield Festival is it's like being in somebody's very comfortable living room rather than a stiff concert setting. It's very relaxed, and just the sound is wonderful, the setting is really beautiful. It's just a great place to be.
A lot of really good performers want to come and work with us because we run the kind of festival people like to be a part of. For one thing, we're nonprofit. If the profit motive is not the driving force, you can concentrate on doing very good music.
Nicholas Payton, I think, is one of those great trumpet players who brings a real sense of tradition. I think it would have been a marvelous thing had Doc Cheatham lived a little bit longer, because the CD that they had made prior to that was just a terrific blending of old and new. It really brought a lot out of Nicholas as well. I think it was the best playing he's ever done.
The Woodland Blues.
The festival is this year for the first time going to be up at the Goshen Fairgrounds. The Fairgrounds is a really nice rural location where they've done an agricultural fair for over 80 years now. one of the reasons for the switch is that the parking is ample and convenient, and it gives us space to do more things that are fun. We're going to have a little car show, antique car show, and some very good crafters and some more food vendors, so it'll be more fun in general for the folks attending. We use a tent for lots of reasons. One is that it makes it a rain or shine event. Although jazz people are pretty tough and they come with their tarps, the key reason is that it provides a really good acoustic shell. After years and years in classical presentations, sound is absolutely the sine qua non, and so the tent provides that kind of setting for us.
Oh, Ileana was wonderful last year. Very exciting for the people, and with a new group formed with a great master bassist that performed with Bill Evans for so many years, Mark Johnson, and of course now they're married.
Ileana was playing and we suddenly had a huge storm. The rain started pounding. It was really quite an exciting moment.
It was actually really kind of cool because all the people that were out in the yard came in under the tent. I think she really enjoyed it. I know that the listeners did too, because it was kind of sheltered from the storm and then listening to a great performer like she is.
My philosophy for selecting artists for the Jazz Festival is a pretty simple one. They have to be very, very talented. They have to be very nice, and I have to like them. And we seek the advice of folks who really know what they're doing. Ken Woods at WPBX, our radio sponsor, and Mario Pavone, my pal, work with me on the lineup. We have a great time doing it.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun doing it. each year Vita has replaced cards and come up shifting them around on different days and different nights, and it's just her and her assistants really work hard in seeing what is out there for the music today and not just going on the basis of traditional performances.
And that's the one thing about Litchfield that I've noticed too, is that you can have people like Jimmy Heath and Slide Hampton playing along a young drummer like Winard Harper, who's fabulous. So they interact generationally and also obviously with the language of jazz. So it's always a great experience there.
Well, Slide is probably the greatest trombone player alive today. And that group with him and Jimmy Heath, you've got two arrangers as well as wonderful players, so they can make two horns sound almost like a big band. It's just fabulous.
Slide Hampton and Jimmy Heath certainly are two of the greatest players around and have been for many years. Both of them, I won't call them senior citizens, but they are the seniors in the jazz world. Just absolutely great. And in fact, not that all of the groups weren't superb, but I think Slide Hampton and his band really turned in a memorable performance with Winard Harper on drums, which really broke it up. And I think that's one of the memorable parts of the festival last year.
The festival this year, that's a little change. We have moved it up a week to August 7th, 8th, and 9th.
It's a terrific setting. I mean, it's a very rustic area here. You can actually sit in your lawn chair or sit under the tent, and you're always very close to the performers, I think. It's an outdoor concert setting, and with that time of year, which is in August, it's just a beautiful atmosphere for hearing jazz. I mean, you have people like Stanley Turrentine, who's been recording for many, many years now, and just a real soulful performer, one of the great veterans still active, and you know, you always love to see people that have that kind of sense of history. Tito Puente, who can soar, probably back in the start of his career.
Watch it.
How many years ago was that, Kennedy?
Well, Tito Puente is going to be at this year's festival, and for those who are fans of Latin music, I will be thrilled to hear him. For those who aren't, you will be fans of Latin jazz after you hear Tito.
I go back with Tito Puente for many years when he had black hair.
Danilo Perez was at Litchfield last year and really did a great job in a trio setting and brings a lot of his Latin and Panamanian background into his jazz playing, which makes it very dynamic. And I think having him back again this year is going to be very exciting, especially for people who might have missed him last year. T.S. Monk, of course. Now, Ken saw T.S., who not only has great lineage there, his dad was Thelonious Monk, but is quite the showman. Ken saw him out at Guildhall in our neck of the woods a couple of years back, and Ken was very impressed.
Yes, T.S. Monk appeared at Guildhall in East Hampton, and Guildhall is a sort of a hub of the society in the Hamptons. And I question whether they should book T.S. Monk and his band into Guildhall. And, well, he held them in the palm of his hand.
Friday night is going to be very exciting for us this year. Not only do we have the great Tito Puente joining us, but we have our summer music school faculty opening for him. They'll showcase some of the students who've played during the week. We have Peter McCarron, who was with us here today, and we're thrilled to have back again. The terrific singer Dominique Eade, Don Braden, who's heading up the faculty, and the great bassist Nat Reed, and the rest of the faculty lineup. So that should be a big night for everybody.
Well, this year's festival promises to be even better than the first two wonderful ones, and many of the groups are new to the festival and very exciting groups on the jazz scene today. The Firm is an inspired pairing of the great Reggie Workman, the Coltrane bass player, with Ernie Watts, wonderful West Coast saxophonist.
Brad Meldau and his trio will also be appearing at the Litchfield Jazz Festival. Brad is at presently also riding the crest. Great pianist. I think he just had a brand new CD out. Is that right,
That's
Peter?
right, live at the Village Vanguard. Brad is also a native son of Connecticut, so that's going to be a nice association. Probably have some old friends in the audience who haven't seen him in a while. Reminds me very much of Bill Evans' great work that he did back in the late 50s and early 60s, but of course Brad is also a first-class musician, so that he sort of springs from those great influences. But it should be a very exciting trio set.
John Scofield's going to be here this year, one of the really great guitarists of the modern era, and he's going to have a legendary electric bassist, Steve Swallow, with him, in a group with Larry Goldings, who played at the festival last year, and the great drummer Bill Stewart.
John Scofield is one of the terrific guitarists working in jazz today. I mean, he played with Miles early on.
One of the things we've done this year is extend the time of the festival, because so many people told us when we had music on Saturday, hey, wait a minute, it's Saturday evening, what do we do now? So what they do now this year is they go and listen to T.S. Monk.
Yeah, the whole festival is going to end a little differently this year. Sunday night there's going to be a blues party, and there's going to be a really great group there, room full of blues.
Well, we dedicated this year's festival to Thomas Chapin, who passed away this past year. Thomas performed on the festival in its first year and its second year, and he was just a wonderful, wonderful spirit, and it grieved us all, and we thought it was the right tribute to make to him.
I've played with Thomas for 20 years, so my feelings are, of course, I've had it many times with Thomas, and at the Litchfield Festival he really performed beautifully and a very enthusiastic performance. He was sick during his time also, and of course has since left us, but he's played both the first and the second annual festival here in Litchfield, and he loved coming here.
I think Thomas Chapin's performance was very touching. Obviously, no one knew he was sick, and to see and hear that kind of performance, knowing that now, in retrospect, is just incredible. The kind of not only courage, but just great jazz.